do we deal with a controlling partner?
Okay, so first thing I would say, we should know when someone needs love and when someone needs help. So a controlling partner most times is a narcissist. So get to understand first, is my partner actually controlling, or is it as a function of what I'm doing? So I'm trying to be very objective because I've actually had instances where someone would say, my partner is doing this, but when you have a session with him, you get to understand, oh, come on, it's a problem from this other end. First of all, is he having or is she having, this problem? If he or she is having this problem, try to sit down and talk. I have a problem these days. Couples don't talk. Couples don't sit down to address issues. They sit down to assume issues. And they sit down to build, the silent war. So they build bricks and assume things. And at the end of the day, because the space is so wide, someone will just wake up in the morning and divorce. Divorce doesn't start in the day. It doesn't come in a day. It's a process. So once you actually, acknowledge, okay, this is what is happening. This is who my partner is. This is where the problem is coming from. Decide to seek help. Which, as you're seeking help, I'll take you back to the first thing. Don't marry a wrong person. A wrong person is someone who won't like to seek help. A wrong person feels he or she is always right. So when you are with the wrong person, when you are in it, the person won't actually see the need to go for therapy, won't actually see the need to sit, to seek counsel. This is one thing I would always tell a lady. Please, never you marry a man who has no authority over him. Men respect authority. Men don't respect personnel. So I see Nana, I like Nana. Okay, I can't even respect Nana if there is, I can't listen to what Nana is telling me if Nana is not going through someone I respect. That's how a man thinks. Men understand things, and men respect from the place of authority. So does this person have someone over him? Does this person have a lord over him? If he has a lord, go through that process. If it's so terrible that there is nothing you can do, one of the rules I would tell people: you cannot stay in the fire to try to quench the fire. Sometimes it calls for separation for you to think to think smart and know the right action to do.
Yeah.
So, understand what is happening, know what is happening, know if this person needs love or needs help. Then also try to find out, is it a foundation problem? I've worked with so many persons to know that most persons, what they're playing out is a function of what they saw in their homes. Their parents, this is how my parents did some things, or the pains they were going through, or sometimes the things they did not have. So they're seeing someone and they're expecting the person to become who they didn't have. More like, I expect you to fill the vacuum I didn't have.
Okay. All right. Now, Dr. Isuru, now, how do you balance this? Now, what I'm trying to say is this. For instance, you get married, and is it possible you can still get married without you not trying to be submissive? Now, let me use that word. I know what I'm saying. Without you not trying to be submissive, but at the same time, having the instinct that you came into this marriage as partnership, or maybe as your partner or as a team player. So, and with knowing very well that maybe your partner, his foundation and upbringing is quite different from yours, how do you balance these two at the same time without your partner feeling intimidated or feeling like you're not respectful or anything?
Okay, so are you asking in the terms where the lady she feels she looks too much like she's...
I wouldn't want to say too much. In a state where the lady's instinct she comes to the fact, okay, he's my partner. Let's do this together. I can ask your view. I can do this. And now you are married to a man whose mentality and foundation is quite different. His own is, yes, sir, yes, sir. Maybe in his marriage, his mother was respectful. So he feels this is how marriage is supposed to be. But because I know very well, people get married to different people with different mentality. But in situations like this, how do you balance this without it leading to misunderstanding in your family?
Okay, so the first thing I would say is that I think it's very important to get married to someone that is teachable.
Yeah. Okay.
When you get married to someone that is teachable, whatever he or she picked up while growing up, that means that he's malleable to change. He or she is ready to change. And that is where communication comes in. And it's very important that even during courtship, you literally ask yourself certain questions. Some of these things come up in courtship.
How many people ask?
Exactly. Actually,
Yeah.
many singles
Everybody,
don't ask.
have you eaten? How are you
Exactly.
doing?
Have you eaten?
Oh,
What
gosh.
did you do today? And all of that. It's unfortunate, but
Yeah.
I think this is a call for singles to ask the right questions. When you notice something in your partner, even during courtship, ask questions. Like, hey, babe, I noticed that this, that. And of course, as a lady, we should understand that guys have an ego. On a
Yeah.
normal, it's very difficult to take corrections. I mean, more so when you are pressing it down their throats. What you say is as important as how you say it.
Truth.
So don't, and of course, I also noticed that guys don't like we need to talk.
How we
That's a
bossing
matter
me
for
around.
another day.
Yeah, okay.
You hit
It's
somebody
true,
at
yeah,
dawn
it's
and
true.
you say, we need
We
to
need
talk.
to
Like,
yeah.
yo, what did I do again?
Exactly. Guys don't like that. So if you notice something your partner you're not comfortable with, and you know you cannot handle all your life, it's important that you have those subtle moments when you're gisting, like, hey babe, I didn't quite like the fact that I had an opinion, and then you were like, it must be your way. That means you've noticed something over time, and you should bring it up. Bring it up with respect.
It's how
And
you say it.
Exactly, it's
Yeah.
how you say it. Rub his ego, but tell him the truth. And you see, the thing is, he may not accept at that point in time, but later on, in his he moment, his me time, he's going to think over it. I'm like, okay, I think there's something actually wrong. And be so open with him. That is also important to marry your friend. He'll be so open to you to tell, okay, fine, or the truth is that this is how Pops ma used to do, this is how Daddy used to do it. I noticed this, that. And then you'll be like, okay, see, our parents are not us. We are different from our parents.
Exactly.
So let's create our own beautiful home. So I think that's just a basis of communication, because the truth is, we can't think the same way. We're two different people from two different family backgrounds and two different environments. So a lot of things will be different about us, but our communication is what will help us out. And once we're both teachable and we're both friends, everything can flow from there.
Manuel, you want to add something?
I think she has actually said it all. Let me just add a little bit to what she actually said. It is very, very important that we don't sweep things under the carpet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the major problems I've actually seen is that the more the people don't actually get to talk about how they feel. People don't actually get to talk about how they want to be loved. It is very funny when, if I'm actually meeting a friend and a friend does something to me which I don't like, I will tell my friend, come on, I don't like this bit. You're with someone you love and the person does something which you don't like, and you keep quiet and sweep it under the carpet. What that does is, any action we don't reprimand, we solidify. So if you're doing something to me and I'm not telling you what you're doing is actually wrong, in your mentality, since I'm not saying anything, you are going to do it again because it looks as if it is what you like. So it is a problem. I think ladies should actually get to know this. What you don't tell a man, trust me, he won't do it.
Truth.
So men are not, I want to eat. I don't want to tell you. Men are, you want to eat, tell me you want to eat. So it's very simple. Sweeping things, just as she said. If there are things you need to trash out, sit down and talk like adults. These are the things I didn't like about what you did and the rest of that stuff. Appreciate faith and trust me. I don't think when you are with the right person, just as she said, when you are with your friend would always look out for things that will make the friendship grow. For things that would actually prune the friendship and make you both last.
Okay. All right. Now, before you go, probably you could at least share some few advice out there to most married people or most people who actually feel like people are supposed to be submissive. And then I love the fact that we got to actually explain more about, or maybe we got to understand what the term submissive means in relationship and marriage. I think that's one thing I just understood right now, because if you listen to a lot of people, some people or people actually have their own idea of what submissive means in marriage and then also at the same time in relationships. So at least that has been cleared. But before you go, maybe a message out there to most of these people.
Okay, so this would actually be my thoughts. Settle for the right person first
settle
of
for the
all.
right person. Hey.
Settle for the right person. When you actually settle for the right person, you will have less of work to do. Then also, relationship involves you doing the actions. You know, marriage involves you taking the actions. You know, it is where we try to see what is workable for the both of us, and we try to adjust to make it work. It is not. It is not. It is not a prison. You know, it is not where. If you think you want to be a boss, you better go to the ring and be the boss. So look for someone, you know, someone that is right for you, you know, aligns to your values, is teachable, just as she said, you know, someone that seeks for your good, someone that likes to support you and is willing to support you. Then put in the efforts to make it work. You know, it's a whole lot of healthy compromise to do. And trust me, you won't have issues and stress in your marriage.
Dr. Iter.
All right, so I really love to focus on the singles because I'm more preventive. So just like Mr. Ned said, you know, try to get married to the right person. But I'd like to say, don't get married for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Because if you get married for the wrong reasons, you're most likely wrong.
Dr. Iter, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. In as much, okay, fine, you just talked about singles, okay? Now, I really need to ask this question before we actually end this show. Is it okay to be submissive in a relationship?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Submissive.
Doesn't it? Because now my reason, I know that we, just as I said, I'm happy we've cleared the air about what submission means. But when you bring it down to this part of the world, and you say be submissive to your boyfriend or your girlfriend, is it that dangerous?
You know, the funny thing is that the word has literally, it sounds so big and ambiguous because we don't even realize that we're being submissive to people every day.
Yeah.
At work, we're submissive to our bosses.
No one.
I mean, sometimes
they want to pay your salary. You got to be submissive.
I mean, somehow, do you know even when you enter a keke, you're actually almost, or a car, you're actually almost submissive to the driver because you're actually under his authority at that point in time. To an extent, you know, the thing is it's just a matter of you coming under authority. You're submissive to your parents. So we can't say be submissive to your boyfriend, but the truth is that for your relationship to work, you have to be submissive. Because if both of you want to struggle for who is the head, there's going to be chaos. And I mean, why not start from there to learn what it actually should be in marriage? It's only a wise thing to do that. If a child wants to learn to talk, she learns to say A, B, C. I mean, you learn it and then you put 2 words together, then 3 words, and you start making sentences. So by the time you already learn it in the relationship, it's easier to convey it into marriage. So the first thing is marry the right person. Don't marry for the wrong reasons. Ladies, no matter how much you are, choose a correct head. It's as simple as that. Choose the correct head. Choose someone that you can actually submit to and that you will not have to always be at loggerheads with his authority. And then if you're in a marriage where you're already having issues, I tell you, I'm a Christian. One thing I'll tell you is that as much as possible, try to be a good wife. Don't try to always nag your husband, all right? And if you notice that his controlling attitude
But this nagging, okay, let me keep quiet. This nagging of a thing, actually, most of the time, the men are the reasons why women nag. Let's bring it down to relationship. Because, for instance, you tell the person, don't be laughing. You tell the person, don't do this. Or maybe you tell the person, this is what you're worried about. Then, when the person keeps doing the same thing, for instance, let's say you're supposed to be calling your partner. You don't call her, she complains. You don't call her, she complains. You don't call her, she complains. Now, it gets to a point where she's concerned. People mistake nagging for being concerned.
Okay. So now, like I said, the way you say what you say is important. Try not to say something at the point where you really want to say it. Because at that point in time, you're angry. At that point in time, you can actually say it in the very wrong way. And most times, when you want to get someone to do something, try to do that thing. Bobo, call me. Why don't you pick up your phone? It doesn't make you any less of a lady. That's the truth. Because in a relationship, you should both be vulnerable. Let's leave the whole I'm a lady. Let the guy be calling me. Call him. You don't want him to. You told him, okay, Bobo, do this, do that. Try to do that thing. Any sensible guy that you have told over time now sees you doing the same thing that you told him to do would pick it up like,
I like the word sensible.
Exactly. Would actually pick it up and be like, oh, I think I should actually change. And any guy that really loves you really would want to make, do his own bit to make you happy. Yes. So, but for the married folks out there who are having issues with controlling partner, depending on how controlling, I mean, I pray for you, my prayers are with you. But the truth is that it can still work. I think the first thing is just try to do your own bit of being a good wife And secondly, if the controlling attitude is towards abuse, you really need to seek counsel, and you may need a temporary separation. And most of all, God is with you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Itero. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Emmanuel, for
You're
coming
welcome.
through.